So the Donald Trump clown show continues, and today's fire is they were really upset at Amazon.
Amazon? Why?
Yeah, so there was like a report that came out that Amazon was going to start showing the price of the tariffs that you're going to have to pay.
Oh, because they were keep talking about other countries paying for your taxes, but they're showing exact number what you're gonna pay for.
Right. So basically, I mean, the Trump and their people are always lying, right, about that. And you guys may not know this. So we're in Korea, and we can use Amazon. And when I order stuff on Amazon, it actually will show you.
Oh.
So it'll say either no import tax. It'll say this is how much import tax, and then it'll actually include it in your price. So Amazon actually does this already for us here in Korea. I forgot to mention that this morning. And then the question would be like, will they extend it to the rest of their platform? Now, Amazon actually denies they were going to do this.
Oh, but
they deny it. So as a report came out, yeah, they're saying, oh no, we were planning on it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it matters. You don't necessarily want the government to give you a hassle or stuff like that. But unfortunately, this is sort of the world we live in is, you know, Trump's get angry, company bribes him, then he, you know, it's not a great way to run things.
It's not really a like free market, you know, government you know, just things that you want to do, right?
Right, yeah. So, you know, this is the world that we live in, right? Because people said, I want a business person to be president, and that's what you get. A business person is like trying to make money for himself. That's literally what you get. So, you know, and this culture actually bleeds into many things that they're up to. Now, the number one question that people ask is, you know, they're going to be doing all these tariffs and collecting tariff money. Where does the money go?
Where's the money go?
Yeah, that's the number one question. So first they were talking about the Sovereign Wealth Fund, okay? So it's a big fund.
Yeah.
And the idea would be we're going to tariff all these people, put it in like a big slush fund, and then Elon Musk and all his billionaire buddies are going to fight over that money.
So you know, you said that they're gonna they want to cut the income tax, right?
Right. That was the idea.
So they cut the income tax, but they collect tax from the tariff.
Right.
More.
Right.
Probably.
Well, it's still not enough money to fund the government. We talked about in the last video, and I also want to bring this up. We have a really smart community, and they mentioned a clarification in our last conversation about Florida, how Florida, because I mentioned that they don't have property taxes there. So that's not correct. I want to make sure it's clear. Just the governor is proposing to cut, cutting the cut property taxes there. So I literally, it was just in the headlines today. So I might have misstated that, you know, that they don't have property taxes. They do right now. But the point is that everyone's like, well, so how would that work? Right? And it's kind of funny because I think people understand what property taxes are. It's a pretty basic. You own a house, you pay tax on your property. That tax pays for your roads, your schools. You know, it's you know, stuff in your local area would be the idea. But when you start talking about tariffs, like the Trump people, they kind of hide what it is. That's why this whole thing is so sensitive to them that Amazon would literally write the price of what you pay.
Actually, when you buy like $20 product, you have to pay $28. So total is $48.
Yeah, it's insane. There was actually a article in the New York Times today about someone who ordered $30,000 worth of toys. And then they were saying their tax is going to be like $48,000. So you're going to owe more. Same way that situation is it's more tax than actually your product, right?
Yeah, maybe one item is fine, but you're running the business. Think about it. That's a lot more.
Right. Now, to be fair to the Trump people, because I want to talk about this stuff, they keep saying, okay, China's going to pay for it. China's going to pay for it. Now, it's not entirely true. So the company who imports the goods, they're the ones actually on the hook. Okay, so let's say in the Amazon situation, when they put the price of, if I order, say, headphones and the price is $20, but then it'll literally say import tax will be, you know, whatever, $28, okay? So Amazon's basically saying you're going to pay for it. If you order this thing, you pay right now. Yeah. But Amazon has to collect that money and then they give it to Trump, basically. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Now, like I said, to be fair to Trump, how this could theoretically work is Amazon could say, okay, we buy the headphones from China for 15, we sell them for 20, we make 5, we collect the tax, we get up to the Trump people. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the other way that they could say is like, you know, we want to make sure people keep buying because no one wants to buy a $48 headphone.
No.
So then Amazon could theoretically go to the Chinese company that makes it and say, sell us the headphones for $5. We'll sell
Yeah.
it for 15. The tax will come down because the percentage of that. But it's still, though, just to make it clear, Amazon themselves is the person who's supposed to pay, but they just make you the customer. We say pass it to the customer. What happens, though, is that the Chinese manufacturers companies, they just been saying no. Because that's the cost of what it takes to make it. We're not, you know.
This original cost you can really lower.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
They need profit too.
right, and that becomes the question of who's going to eat the tax, right? So just make sure it's clear, though, the importing company is the one who is on the hook. We say on the hook. They're officially have to, and so they try to negotiate whatever thing that they can do, but Walmart's already been on the phone trying to get basically send it cheaper, but it's like.
But if they say no.
Well, it's not just no. It's just like they might even have the power to do it. Yeah. Because a lot of these goods, we say very low margin.
Yeah.
Right. The Chinese business model. If you guys ever been to China, and we used to live there actually.
Just make a lot for.
Yeah. It's mass quantities, thin margins, right? And then on top of this, because you asked the question, so hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have questions about what's going on, please let us know. But I just want to make it clear that Amazon actually does put the import. So they have it in there, but a good way to say it, they have it in their code now. All they have to do is literally just flip the switch, and it would work for all the stores. Now I'd be curious, because I want to hear from people, say in Australia or the UK or wherever, because Amazon has different international stores. Japan has an international Amazon. When you buy, does it also show the prices? And you may not know this. This was a recent deal with that Amazon did. And I feel like I'm advertising Amazon, but but I'm not. It's just reality. They sent out an email. I think it was like 6 months ago or something, where they offer free shipping to Korea, which is kind of crazy. But here's the thing. That why it makes sense.
They offered it a lot before ago, but our company in Korea
protest or something, or what?
Not protest, kind of. They kind of stopped them.
Like
11번가 and Naver.
Right. Local Korean delivery type companies, like, you can't let that, happen, like stuff like that. And so, but that's part of how politics and business mix, right? Because governments can block whatever they want. Like, I'll give you another example that's been a real contentious issue here in Korea is Netflix.
Why?
So when Netflix or any kind of online service like that plays to Korea, then basically the Korean government will put like a tax on it, essentially a tariff. It's like a tariff. I can't remember what they call it. They call it like an online fee or something like that. So basically, Netflix, from their point of view, they just want to sell something directly to the consumer. But the reason why you would put a tariff in this situation is that the Korean government would say, we need to protect our local streaming services, and so we don't want Netflix to undercut us in price. So keep So then if you, because who knows where the money goes, but if you do it correctly, a tariff would be then we take that money and then you'd use it to subsidize your own industries. So I'm not against tariffs entirely. For example, so Trump and the shrimping one is not a terrible idea. If Chinese are indeed dumping a bunch of low-cost shrimp, and let's say low cost, low quality, and you can debate on the quality situation, and you're like, okay, their government's supporting, their shrimp, and so we need to support ours, and then you try to essentially put a tariff on it that makes their costs higher, and then America's more, able to compete. The biggest issue with the Trump tariffs is he did it like on every country and like every industry, and then the numbers didn't make sense at all.
And now they keep changing the numbers each industry, so no one knows what's going on.
And they lie about who pays the tariffs. So there's a bunch of things that on with this. And I just want to have an honest conversation with you about this stuff because someone asked me a question like, how do you know who's telling you the truth or not? And I'll tell you, and I'm not going to name names because it actually makes people really pissed off when I name names, okay? But I'll just say this. I'll give you a couple hints. There's channels out there when they show you polling data, okay? There's a recent polling data on Trump's numbers, and it was pretty bad. It was like 42%, approval.
Too high.
Yeah, I know. That's what people keep saying. And then there was another data that was called like in touch, like how well are you in touch or connect with the voters or whatever. Trump numbers were like 35, right? The Republican Party was something like 32, but then the Democrats were 30, which is low. And many of the other channels that are all part of the same network, they were on the left side, they did not mention the Democrat part. And I think it's disingenuous, misleading to not literally talk about everything. And they'll do that on multiple issues. So guys, even though I don't like Trump, it doesn't mean I'm going to be just unfair and make stuff up or hide stuff from you. I think that's
Give you all facts.
yeah. I think that's the right thing to do. And you lose all integrity and credibility if you don't tell people everything. So that's why when people ask a question like, where does the money go? I tell you, this is what they've been saying, and we keep track of that because it could change. Who knows? And then on top of that, you asked me about the tariff money, where could it go? Remember, they want to fund all of their AI projects, these kind of things. A lot of what we're seeing right now in the markets is smoke and mirrors. So like we have a new company that's getting to the AI race. Who's that?
Meta.
Yeah. So basically what this is that there's a slowdown in the economy. We can all see it. Morgan Stanley came out with a forecast. I think it was Morgan Stanley. It was one of the Wall Street banks, and they said U.S. GDP is going to go negative. Negative like 1.4, right?
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is actually. To go negative is not a great thing. That means our economy is not growing. People are gonna
just 1%, 2% growing means bad.
Yeah.
1%, 2% is bad, but going negative is really bad.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Right, because you're like, how do you think about this? Yeah. So 1% growth is not great. 1% to the negative side, and it could get worse. That's just a forecast. Oftentimes, Wall Street, they try to give more positive stuff because they want people to keep giving you money and stuff like that, right? Investing. So they're saying that because of the Trump tariffs, and then the Wall Street Journal just posted a thing. It was like 80% of executives in the big companies, they all feel real negative about the tariffs, and companies keep pulling
Even
guidance.
Musk is negative.
Yeah, he is actually. He is. Although him and Tesla are a bit we say chicken, like scared.
Yeah.
They wrote a letter to the Trump people and wouldn't sign it, which is pretty lame. And it looks like the AI wrote it, which is you just kind of know. I don't know.
Tesla wrote a layoff email to their employee just like that.
It's kind of it's actually it's kind of funny with the Tesla one. And it wasn't that bad, but the one time Tesla sent out layoff employees, they said, "Dear employee."
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be your name, but it just comes out, comes across really lame.
Because maybe it was too many of them.
Well, what's just kind of crazy is Tesla would fire all their HR people, so they don't even have people to write. Because from Elon's point of view, he thinks AI is going to just do everyone's job, etc. I mentioned AI stuff because if growth is down, everyone's predicting slowing growth, then many companies have to come up with some sort of reason why you still invest in them. And then basically it's smoke and mirrors of like, hey guys, we got this new AI thing. It's going to make tons of cash. It's going to be awesome. Now, ChatGPT is the leader in this stuff, but they're not profitable.
And
they don't make money.
The CEO of ChatGPT, he keeps saying that when we fed up the zebra style of photo, he said, stop doing that.
Oh.
And these days he said,
takes up too much processing power. Yeah.
Don't say thank you or sorry.
Yeah, too much processing power.
Yeah.
Because when you sell a product, right, you can't just have something out of thin air. You got to have all these data centers to run said thing. And then the key with this is that it takes power to run said data center. So
a lot of power.
There's a couple big stories going on. The first one is what happened in Spain and Portugal.
They lost their power.
Yeah, and
entire whole city.
I don't know exactly what the cause is yet. If anyone's there, please let us know. It was actually massive power.
They're not gonna never tell you, probably.
I don't know. So some of the stuff like that, I always wonder because if it's like a major hack or something like that, and they didn't find out, would they tell you we don't know? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We do have a massive hack of one of big telephone company.
Right.
Their SIM card all hacked.
That was SK, right?
Yeah, SK.
Yeah. So we actually got. I have a credit card app on my phone. I got a message from my credit card app.
Yeah.
And I think you read the message. What did it say? Do you remember?
I don't know.
I
didn't get the message.
Yeah, it was on the Hyundai app. So I think the app said like something like we're not involved in this. The SK thing. Because I asked you, it was like, what is this? It was kind of weird. It popped up like an emergency kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like when those things happen, I don't know if like you have to request a new number or change your passport or whatever.
No, it doesn't matter because they hacked your SIM card even if you change the PIN number.
Oh, your SIM.
So you have to change your SIM card or change the company.
Oh, did people have to go into the store and change their SIM cards now?
Yeah, so now we have a lot of shortage of SIM cards.
SIM cards.
People are really mad about it.
I would be. Yeah.
Just go to bank and anyone anyone try to loan,
Mm,
because you know these days we can use a phone to get a
right,
loan.
right.
So you go to the bank and to stop the like loan that like
Mm,
kind of through the phone.
yeah.
So we should do that tomorrow.
Probably
Because
should.
we just went to 2 banks who's too busy.
Oh, that's why the banks are so busy right now.
I think so.
Oh, that's funny. It's funny because like it's when you read the news and then you don't make the connections right away. Yeah, because literally we went to the couple of banks today and they were both really busy. I was like, oh, let's go to a different one. And like that one was busy too. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll go to the cafe now. Right. So now we're at the cafe talking to you, and we were probably should be. And now the bank is closed. So that's why they're so busy. Yeah, people are. But I bring up the bank stuff and the power stuff and all the things because this sort of notion that AI is going to save us, that Elon Musk keeps saying,
Wow.
there's still some need for humans. I don't want to become too dependent on machines, and we already are. Like if like, pretty much all of us who work in an office, if the power and internet goes down, we're kind of
Yeah, and
screwed, right? What's that?
yesterday, when we were at the bank, I heard that 2 old ladies talking about each other, these days, there's less bank, so we can't really do anything. We have to, go further bank,
Oh,
They don't know how to do the mobile banking, so they were complaining about
oh, sure.
the mobile service.
So you understand? So like for example, when Elon Musk wants to basically turn everything digital,
Mm.
like no more paper taxes, no more paper returns, these kind of
Yeah.
things, and there's some people that just
Yeah, even they were complaining we are living in the big city.
Yeah.
Right? But think about you guys.
Like live really far. Well, yeah, it would be here in Korea or many people who have grandparents, these kind of things. It's hard for them to adjust over to it. No, just the reality of it. And I think that's the biggest problem with this whole Trump stuff is they're just completely disconnected from the regular people's experience, and then they lie to you about it, right? Like and then that's why it goes back to just when we do the news on the channel, I just want to tell you what's going on. I'll tell you my opinion, and I want to hear yours. But I won't, purposely just leave stuff out. Only tell you like one-sided thing. I'll say, hey, this is the argument they're going to try to make. That's why they're doing it. Because people often ask, like, why does Trump do these crazy things? And I literally give the explanation. When you hear it, then you can decide if it's stupid or not. But I'm not going to like make stuff up, right, about that. And I think that's really important if you want to solve anything in this world is just have honest conversations about these things. And I wish more people did. So anyway, I do appreciate your time, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. So bye.